In this episode, I'd like to address a topic from a seeker who is practicing Brahmacharya, which is also known as semen retention in modern times. Perhaps you have this same question in your mind. Please note, this excerpt is taken from the book written by PRANA Man, narrated by Rethas. Book link given is in the description. The question is about choosing a spouse for marriage. How should a man choose a partner who supports a disciplined life? A life rooted in celibacy or sexual restraint? Is there an ideal age difference between husband and wife? An age gap that maintains balance and harmony? If a man has practiced long-term celibacy, is it possible the woman may be more sexually active? If so, how should this difference be understood? How should it be reconciled within marriage? In today's world, finding women of strong character is difficult. Women who uphold such high standards are rare. Where should one realistically begin the search for such a partner? Finally, is it advisable to marry a working woman? Does that choice create additional challenges to maintaining these values? Let me share something important with you. If a person's efforts are genuine, God blesses them. If their commitment to Brahmacharya is persistent, divine help comes. If their devotion includes constant God meditation and prayer, obstacles are removed. God invariably blesses such a person with a spouse, a husband or wife who will be supportive and encouraging to Brahmacharya. It is the intensity that matters. It is the longing one has for Brahmacharya that counts. One's attitude should be clear and unwavering. There is nothing more important in this existence. There is nothing more attractive than the realization of God. This realization comes through the divine act of Brahmacharya. I do not want association with anything that comes in the way. I do not want anyone who blocks this mode of life. One who has such commitment will succeed. One who has such love and devotion will eventually become an Urdhvaretha. Urdhvaretha means one whose vital energy flows upward. Getting an understanding husband or wife is very trivial. It is a small happening. It will be taken care of within the twinkling of God's eyes. Progress in the path of Brahmacharya is never instantaneous. Numerous obstacles will appear, temptations will arise, impediments and problems will be laid in the path. These obstacles come from God Himself. They come to test how faithful you are. They test how committed the person is. These are like the exams a student has to pass. They are necessary to be awarded with a degree. Think about it this way. Will a student be given a graduation certificate just for claiming knowledge? Will he get it just for saying he mastered the subject? No. He has to prove his knowledge. He must fare well in the various exams year after year, after which he is finally awarded with a degree by the university. The degree recognizes his accomplishments. The success that comes from Brahmacharya is very similar. The enormous power is very similar. The bliss and God realization are very similar. They will come and undoubtedly reside in the man who has committed himself. The man who has honestly and sincerely devoted himself to God through Brahmacharya, through years of unbroken celibacy, come what may. Not in a few days or months, but they will come. They will surely come. Our job is to strive and plod honestly. We should not worry about when and how. These are things which will be decided by God. They will be forwarded by God in His own accord. There is a saying that offers wisdom. The right approach for a man is to give 90% of his energies towards love and prayer to God. The remaining 10% goes as love for his wife. Then the wife will forever adore the man. She will be after the man trying to win the remaining 90%. Let me explain something about male and female energies. The male and female energies are created by God. They exist for the continuation of samsara. Samsara means the manifestation of the outer world that we see. The world comprised of people, their thoughts, actions, and their creations. By default, the female energy by itself lacks definition. In other words, it lacks form, structure, and boundary. It is indefinite, deep, mysterious, and unbound. It is like the dark night. The male energy, on the other hand, signifies definition. In other words, it depicts form, structure, and a well-defined boundary. It is definite, shallow, clear, and bounded in sense of tangible perception. These two energies are the two forms of the one single God. Through these energies, He operates. These two energies represent the dualities of nature. Till one reaches a state of union with God, each energy complements the other. This union exists beyond the domain of the dualities. Till then, each energy is in a state of imbalance without the other. Each needs the other to complete itself. For this reason, the concept of marriage is holy. The concept of a family is sensible and purposeful. The female energy characteristics make a woman feel incomplete by herself. The lack of definition and unbound depth create emptiness. She is forever in search of something. That's something which will give her a sense of definition, something that provides direction and completion. In the same way, there is a sense of incompleteness in a man. This remains until he finds a worthy woman, a woman who can be the object and means of expression of his qualities of strength, bravery, firmness, self-confidence, and sense of purpose. A woman whom he can protect, provide, and take care of, from whom he can enrich his life with feminine qualities of kindness, consideration, understanding, affection, and true love. These two equations are basic. They form the substratum of the need for matrimony and family. They are the pillars on which a healthy and happy family unit is formed. No matter how modernized the world gets, these basics can never change. No matter how sophisticated and advanced society becomes, this remains constant. This is the law of creation, which is permanent and eternal. The qualities which the woman fundamentally lacks are present in abundance in the real man. So when a woman comes across such a man, something shifts. A man who stands for and represents definition through his qualities of bravery, strength, firmness, sureness, confidence, and sense of direction. These form the male substratum. She finds an opportunity to end her sense of incompletion, to end her indefinableness and emptiness by associating with the very opposite of these lacunae within her, the lacunae that he represents. Once a woman finds such a man, she revels. She experiences a sudden sense of completion and definition. Her life gets a direction and sense of purpose at the innate level. A woman who has found such a man feels completed. Her incomplete nature has been fulfilled. She will willingly and lovingly follow the man. She will assist, understand, and stand by the man. The man who has driven away her deficits. The man who has provided her with what she needed the most, a sense of security, direction, and purpose. When a man is governed by these qualities, something beautiful happens. When he is firm, sure, brave, and confident of what he wants in life. When he has the zeal and tenacity to pursue it. His woman feels an admiration for these qualities that he possesses. She will most naturally be supportive and understanding in whatever path he chooses. She will offer him her valuable qualities of love, affection, kindness, concern, and steadfast loyalty. The problems of lack of love arise due to certain reasons: non admiration, unkindness, and an insupportable nature from a woman towards her man. These problems most often arise due to lack of manly qualities in the man. When man deviates from the true nature which he should be anchored to, most often men and not women are to be blamed for the resulting scenario. What wrong does the man do? Instead of being steadfast in his nature, he abandons his truth. Instead of being true to the male qualities mentioned earlier, he strays. Instead of having a sure sense of direction, he becomes lost. Man runs after the woman begging for her approval. He idolizes her as a precious object of pleasure. He seeks to please her with money, gifts, and material possessions. These become a substitute to the priceless real man qualities mentioned. This is like making a statement. Since I lack the priceless qualities of bravery, sureness, self-confidence, and sense of direction, I am substituting them with these expensive gifts. With dinners, constant words in praise of your beauty, with a promise that I shall ever be your slave. I will do whatever you want me to do. In return for your company, lots of sex. In return for your undivided attention and loyalty to me. What will be the reaction? The woman who came to the man had hope. She hoped he would be the embodiment of priceless, true male qualities. She finds that he is worse than she herself in this domain. He lacks the grit, will, determination, and confidence a man must have. He is instead a timid, effeminate, and directionless weakling. He is prepared to give up his self-esteem. He will give up his self-respect for the pleasures of her body, for her company, and attention. This realization in the woman makes her look down at the man. It results in an attitude of scorn, disgust, and loathing towards the man. Once a woman reaches this state, consequences follow. If still not married, she will avoid him. Eventually, she will leave him. If it is with her husband after marriage, she will constantly curse her fate for having given her such a spineless man. She shows this discontentment outwardly through bad mouthing, condemning and rebuking the man at every possible excuse. She will fail to be supportive in his endeavors. She does not find him worthy enough of her affection and attention. There are women called gold diggers. They may stay by such a man if he were rich and powerful, for the sake of financial security or gains. But such a man can never win the love of a woman. He cannot win her respect, admiration, and unconditional devotion. These qualities come further to manly qualities of substance. If a man wants his wife to be loving, something must happen first. If he wants her to be considerate, affectionate, and supportive to his aims and objectives, he first needs to develop qualities that befit his maleness. He first needs to be self-reliant with himself, not a slave of sex and passion. He needs to be the embodiment of at least a few qualities, if not all the aforesaid qualities mentioned. This will make the woman look up to him with respect, with admiration and awe. This will naturally induce the woman to respond to the man with loyalty, attention, and devotion. She will then naturally strive to enrich his life. With her feminine qualities of kindness, affection, unconditional love, and support, she will try her best to please him. The man also can then correspondingly respond with consideration, understanding, and kindness from his own side towards her, this results in a marriage which is stable, happy, and purposeful. Purposeful to both the parties concerned. Whether the wife is a working woman or not becomes a trivial issue. It is not of much concern. But a man who craves after the female physical form cannot achieve this. A man with a mind constantly fixed in lusting after female sexuality cannot succeed. His wife will always feel the pressure to look sexual. She is in a constant state of competition with other women, trying to win his attention. In the company of a man who is virtuous, something changes. A man who is God-loving, firm and sure about his ideals, a man not devoted or besotted to sex as a form of pleasure. The approach to sexuality that a woman has eventually alters. She adjusts her perspective accordingly. She falls in line with the man's way of thinking and approach. Nature has made woman very adaptable. Nature has given her the strength to change herself to a large degree. What is required is a man who is worthy in the lady's eyes. A man who can inspire and dynamize a woman to change accordingly. As regards how a brahmachari can find such a woman, he can find such a woman through his rock-steady conviction, through his commitment to God, through brahmacharya itself. When the right time comes, he will come across a soul that is destined to be his wife, a soul that will support him in his quest. He can then proceed with fathering a child or two. The couple can work jointly towards leading a life of bliss, filled brahmacharya in the constant thought of God. One and only one thing is required of the celibate, that he be wholly and honestly devoted to God, devoted through brahmacharya come what may, following which all the right things will happen. All the right people will appear when the time is ripe. The path of brahmacharya is sacred. It is transformative and divinely guided. When your devotion is pure, when your commitment is unwavering, God provides everything you need, including the perfect life partner. Trust in this divine process. Stay true to your path. The rest will unfold in divine timing. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time.